Could I be wrong about casualty rates in Gaza? Major Kraft seems to think so. Major Adam Kraft is my old boss, a former West Pointer, a former Defense Intelligence Agency collection strategist, and he retired from the military as a major. He saw my video I did this morning about casualties, and he called me and told me that not only was I wrong, but I was dead wrong. I'm going to show you the video I did this morning. Then I'm going to play you an audio file he sent me, and don't worry, I have his permission to play it. Here's the original video. Looks like the ground invasion of Gaza is going to kick off soon. Here's what it might look like. The Qassam brigades are the military arm of Hamas. There should be 3 Qassam brigades operating in and around Gaza City. 1 in al-Mughraqa, 1 in Khan Yunis, and 1 in Rafah. Israel will most likely breach around Wadi al-Quatrin, then heading northwest, destroying the brigade at al-Mughraqa, and then stopping at the Mediterranean Sea. Israel will set up a defense facing southwest, while further Israeli forces head north into Gaza City. If we use Operation Cast Lead and the Battle of Sadr City as a template, expect to see between 3 and 16 Israeli Defense Force casualties per day. On the Qassam side, expect to see between 7 and 66 casualties per day. Also expect to see anywhere between 13 and 40 civilian casualties per day, with some days as high as 300. Israeli forces will take between 200 and 500 meters of ground per day. It's going to be messy, it's going to be ugly, and the operation will take between 20 and 50 days. If you want to know more, I'm working on an entire video about it, premiering Sunday the 22nd. And this is Major Kraft's response.
Ryan, you're slightly off on your MOUT casualty calculations by a factor of 1/3. I say this because I don't think you took into account the amount of improvised explosive devices, IEDs, and more specifically EFPs we encountered in our time in the region. The explosively formed projectiles perfected by Iran and employed by third parties like Hamas are going to be difficult to engage and clear in the fights occurring just back from the leading edge of these IDF company teams, conducting what is likely the largest urban combat operations since the Second World War. We're looking at multi-division coordinated operations also involving indirect fire capabilities even the U.S. military did not deploy in Iraq just because they weren't fielded yet. I agree with your use of Cast Lead as a baseline. Iran has facilitated Hamas's ability to totally impregnate the landscape and building facades throughout the Gaza territories, and Hamas will also use both their human shields captured from inside Israel and their own civilians to full effect here, which will complicate the IDF's maneuver both on foot and their vehicles. IDF tactical eyes may also be hindered by Iranian-procured unmanned systems tech, which will eventually be disrupted by the far superior Israeli capabilities. However, the longer these Iranian or Russian or Chinese capabilities in Hamas hands stay relevant in the urban fight, the more IDF and trapped civilian lives will be lost. I'm personally afraid of the introduction of chemical weapons into the fight by Hamas, like rudimentary chlorine or the so-called super bleach bombs, which have been used in the past regionally with mild effect on operations, but are more devastating to the civilians in the area.
So I will admit that sometimes officers do have a purpose and a bigger picture. Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know in the comments below. Major Kraft owns an investigations and private security firm in Texas. If you need someone found, and you can find him, it's pretty easy to find him, you can reach out to him at corgiglobal.com.